At midday, the air outside this Amazon home feels almost solid. Sunlight presses against the clearing, wet clothes cling to skin, and every breath seems warmer than the last. The thermometer may not actually read 50 degrees Celsius, but extreme humidity can make ordinary tropical heat feel far more dangerous. Yet beneath a broad palm roof, one remote family sits in shade without an air conditioner, electric fan, or sealed refrigerator cold room. The interior is not really 10 degrees Celsius. That would be impossible without active cooling. But compared with the exposed riverbank, the change can feel extraordinary. So how does a house made from forest materials protect people when even sweat struggles to work? The answer begins before the first post enters the ground. There is no single Amazonian house or universal indigenous lifestyle. Different peoples build for different rivers, rainfall patterns, materials, and traditions. But some traditional homes share principles shaped by generations of living with heat. First, the builders choose where the house can breathe. Dense forest blocks direct sun, but it can also trap still, wet air. An opening near a river or forest edge may catch moving air that disappears deeper among the trees. The house is then positioned so prevailing breezes can pass through the living space. This matters because humidity weakens the body's main cooling system. Sweat removes heat only when it evaporates. When the surrounding air already holds enormous moisture, sweat remains on the skin and drips away without carrying away as much heat. Moving air helps by sweeping the saturated layer away from the body. The family does not need to manufacture cold air. It needs to keep the existing air moving. Then comes the roof. A wide, steep roof made from overlapping palm leaves intercepts sunlight before it reaches the people below. Deep overhangs shade the floor and walls even when the sun moves lower. Palm thatch also stores far less daytime heat than a thin metal sheet exposed to the sun. A metal roof can become painfully hot and radiate that energy downward. A thick natural roof slows the transfer. Its height creates a large space above people's heads where hotter air can collect without pressing directly around their bodies. Open sides, permeable walls, and wide entrances give that rising heat somewhere to escape. Cooler is therefore not the same as cold. The family still sweats, drinks water, slows physical work, and seeks shade during the hardest hours. Their home cannot make a 50-degree day become 10 degrees. Instead, it blocks radiant heat, reduces stored heat, and uses every available breath of wind. That combination can make the shaded interior feel dramatically more survivable than the exposed ground outside. That is when their simplest cooling tool appears. But the cooling design creates a dangerous trade-off. Every opening that releases heat also admits mosquitoes, wind-driven rain, and animals, and when night arrives, the breeze may vanish completely. Now the family must keep air moving without sealing themselves inside the heat. The family's simplest cooling tool is already hanging between two wooden posts. It is the hammock. A thick mattress presses much of the body against one insulated surface where warmth and moisture can collect. A hammock suspends the sleeper above the damp ground and allows moving air to reach both sides of the body. The family can raise it toward a breeze, lower it away from hot roof air, or move it closer to an open side. In some Amazonian homes, a raised platform separates people from wet soil, crawling insects, and moisture below. Open space under that floor allows air to move beneath the living area. But the house alone cannot protect the family if they behave as though the heat does not matter. Their second cooling system is time. Fishing, gathering, paddling, and heavy preparation can begin before the strongest sunlight reaches the clearing. As midday approaches, the rhythm changes. Adults move demanding work into shade. Children stop running in direct sun, and tasks that can wait are delayed. Every working muscle produces heat inside a body already struggling to release it. Slowing down prevents that internal heat from becoming another enemy. Water is kept close because sweating without replacing fluid can lead to dehydration. The family drinks water regularly instead of waiting until thirst arrives. Bathing in the river or pouring stored water over the skin can remove heat much faster than still air. Wet skin does not remain cool forever in high humidity, but contact with cooler water provides relief. Light, loose clothing exposes more skin to moving air and avoids holding a thick layer of hot moisture against the body. Even cooking is treated carefully. A fire beneath a low roof would send heat and smoke through the living space. Cooking may happen at the edge of the shelter, in a separate area, or during cooler hours, depending on local practice and weather. Only a small controlled fire may remain when smoke is useful against biting insects. Too much fire warms the house. Two little smoke leaves exposed sleepers surrounded by mosquitoes. Palm mats or movable woven panels can shade the low afternoon sun without closing every wall. If the wind changes, one panel moves while another opening remains clear. Hammocks shift with the breeze. People sit lower and farther from the heated roof. A broadleaf or woven hand fan creates air movement directly across wet skin when nature provides none. None of these methods produces refrigerated air. Together, however, they prevent direct sunlight, trapped body heat, hot cooking air, and complete stagnation from attacking at once. Years in the climate can also help people become heat acclimatized. Their bodies may begin sweating earlier and circulate heat toward the skin more efficiently than a visitor arriving from a cool region. But acclimatization is not immunity. A baby, elder, sick person, or exhausted worker can still develop dangerous heat illness. This afternoon, the youngest child stops playing. His face is flushed, his hair is soaked, and he answers more slowly when his mother speaks. The adults do not praise him for enduring it. They move him into the deepest shade, loosen unnecessary clothing, wet his skin, offer water if he can drink safely, and keep watching him. If confusion, fainting, vomiting, or worsening weakness appears, the situation is no longer ordinary discomfort. Without nearby emergency care, prevention matters even more. Gradually, the child becomes alert again. Then the stillness breaks. Wind rushes across the river. Leaves turn their pale undersides upward, and thunder rolls beyond the canopy. Cooler air should bring relief. Instead, the first gust drives a wall of rain beneath the open roof. The family pulls one palm panel into place. Another gust attacks from a different direction. More openings must close. Within minutes, the house that survived the heat by breathing begins losing its airflow. Rain pounds the roof, warm bodies crowd toward the dry center, and smoke can no longer drift away. The temperature starts climbing again. Now the family faces the hardest contradiction of humid rainforest living. To remain dry, they must close the house. To remain cool, they must keep it open. And the storm is forcing them to choose. The family does not seal the entire house. They close only the side receiving the hardest rain and keep a protected opening opposite it. Wind enters through that dry opening, crosses beneath the high roof, and escapes above the temporary panels. Hammocks move toward the center, away from spray but below the pocket of hottest air. The broad roof carries water down its steep surface, while deep overhangs protect the floor. Then the storm begins helping them. Rain cools the roof, shaded ground, and air flowing from the river. The violent gust becomes a cooler breeze. As its direction changes, one panel opens again. Trapped warmth escapes, air reaches wet skin, and the house starts breathing. The house has simply prevented the rainforest's heat from becoming worse. So how do remote Amazon families keep cool in extreme humidity without air conditioning? There is no single method shared by every community. But where these strategies are used, cooling begins with intelligent design. Trees provide the first shade. A broad palm roof blocks solar heat. Deep overhangs protect open sides. Height gives rising warmth somewhere to collect. Permeable walls, raised floors, and river breezes maintain airflow. Hammocks expose more of the body to moving air. Work slows during the hottest hours. Movable panels respond to sun, wind, and rain. Together, these methods cannot turn 50 degrees outside into 10 degrees inside. Instead, they reduce the heat entering the home, release warmth already trapped there, and protect the body's limited ability to cool itself. There is no thermostat and no button. The house is the cooling machine. The family operates it by reading every change in shade, wind, water, and weather. Their survival does not come from defeating the climate. It comes from designing daily life so the climate never traps them completely.